The war on land was complemented by the war on water. The Navy's war in Vietnam was fought on two separate fronts. One was off the coast of Vietnam, American aircraft carriers launching strikes against the enemy, a key part of the intensifying air war. Other missions off the coast included the battleship New Jersey, contributing some heavy-duty artillery support. The 16-inch guns fired explosive projectiles the size of a small automobile. But the enemy also was hunted from the rivers and canals of South Vietnam. The Viet Cong was accustomed to hiding along these waterways. It became more difficult to hide, as Larry Pomeroy reported.
There are certain areas of South Vietnam which are regarded as under the total control of the Viet Cong. Such is the case in the southern section of the Cà Peninsula, where just flying the flag invites the wrath of the enemy. This Navy swift-boat patrol is part of the Gulf of Thailand surveillance group, operating in the remote regions of the country's southwest. There is grim evidence of Viet Cong power. Nam Can City was once the home of 150,000 people, most of whom were not loyal to the enemy. So the city was burned and ransacked by the guerrillas a year ago, left in abandoned ruins. Tensions build up as the boats investigate narrow canals off the river. Past experience on these irregular patrols in this area have taught the crews that the enemy remains unseen, but always there, watching from the banks. Often it's a matter of when he will strike, not if. The bark of Chinese Communist AK-47s comes from the left bank. The soft whoosh of badly aimed B-40 rockets comes from the right bank. The only casualty is cameraman Don McLeod, who received a minor shrapnel wound an inch from his right eye.
First I saw was an explosion on the deck of that other swift boat. Pow. It just bleed. Didn't feel a thing. I thought it was a rocket ran or something hitting the deck of that other boat. Just a bang. That's it.
Does it hurt now?
Nah. No, negative.
The patrol continues. The crews are used to firefights. Sometimes they run up 3 sharp battles a day with the enemy. The crew of our swift boat had their last vessel sunk from under them. The chief of Nam Can District and his U.S. Army advisor are met on the river. The Navy swift boats are the main support for the government's 4 regional force companies in this area.
During for 50 days in the months of November and December, we were hit something like 29 mortar attacks, if I can remember correctly, 4 ground attacks, and numerous other incidents. Since the swift boats have come up, we've only had 1 mortar incident since then. So you can see generally from that the security picture has increased considerably.
There is no question that this patrol's progress through the Cà Peninsula's network of canals and rivers has been carefully followed by the Viet Cong. On its last visit, the patrol left receiving rounds of small arms fire as the enemy's parting gesture. So this time, the patrol has obtained permission from the district chief to shoot at the banks in an area declared a free fire zone.
The river patrols encompassed a wide variety of naval craft, including monitor gunboats, named after the armor-clad warship of the Civil War. And convoys of floating artillery bases, some equipped with their own helicopter landing platforms. An even more unusual vessel was described by Ike Pappas.
This is the start of Operation Quai Vat, and a very well-named operation it is, because in Vietnamese, Quai Vat means monster.
These monsters are more commonly known as hovercraft, the strange land and sea vehicle that rides on its own cushion of air. This operation is actually an experiment for the hovercraft. Before this, they were used mainly for river patrol. Now they are being thrown into direct combat with the Viet Cong to see how they will fare. The VC often ride in camouflage sampans under trees and in patches of brush. Helicopters spot the sampans from the air. and then drop a smoke grenade to mark the spot. The hovercraft then move in, guns firing. Besides a score of Viet Cong dead, the hovercraft also claimed a handful of communist prisoners in the fight. Some of them had to be pulled from the water. They were discovered hiding beneath the surface, breathing through bamboo reeds jutting from the water. The hovercraft seemed to be proving their worth in the tough Delta War. Traveling at speeds up to 60 miles an hour, they can cover territory in a single day that often took weeks to clear.
These hovercraft sailors like to say that they hit all the Viet Cong that they aim at. And those they add with a smile that get away are probably frightened to death. Ike Pappas, CBS News, in the Delta near Ma Qua.